Amidst the wreckage of Jin's camp, the tents burned to ashes, and his men still writhing in pain, Jin sought information about his brother, Jiam. Turning to the unit leader, he inquired about Jiam's whereabouts. The unit leader informed him that Jiam had gone after the third young lady, presumably in pursuit of a resolution or aid. He couldn't help but feel a sense of disappointment and frustration. He lamented the loss of a precious night, realizing that time was slipping away with only 2 days remaining in the trial. However, he quickly composed himself, acknowledging that there was still ample time to turn things around. As the sun began to rise, Jin made a decision. He instructed his men to protect the others who remained at the camp, while he himself would retrieve the box. The unit leader acknowledged his orders, responding with a resolute, "Yes, sir." In a different location, Woon and his allies established their base. Sarah, eager for more clarity, requested that Woon explain their next plan in greater detail. Woon, contemplating the situation, speculated that the second young master might soon discover their location. However, rather than attempting to halt his progress, their base was meant to serve as an enticing trap, drawing him in. Wool expressed her doubts, acknowledging that luring him would not be an easy task given her brother's cautious nature. Woon, however, believed that his brother's cautiousness would work to their advantage, as it would fuel his curiosity and entice him further into their trap. Xian, seeking further understanding, asked Woon to elaborate on his plan. Woon, lying down and recognizing the importance of rest and avoiding obscured senses, encouraged his allies to rest as much as possible. Xian, surprised, questioned whether Woon was actually sleeping in such a critical situation. Wool, amazed by Woon's ability to sleep, pondered the significance of this behavior. Sarah, reflecting on her experiences, expressed her admiration for Woon's unique way of thinking, noting that even in the desert, she had never encountered someone with his mindset. She pondered whether achieving kingship could truly make her dreams come true. As Woon slept on his side, his mind continued to work. He recognized that Sarah had a weakness when it came to her brother, as predetermined by the plot. He resolved to act accordingly and ensure that she would be on his side. However, he couldn't help but feel the weight of the challenge they faced, acknowledging the difficulties that lay ahead. In the heart of the Red Mountain, Jian had successfully located their base. Standing atop a tree, he pondered whether Woon had established this base before the trial began, strategizing for their encounter. As he observed, Sarah emerged from the base, catching Jian off guard. He was taken aback, wondering if this was another part of Woon's plan. Sarah, aware of Jin's presence, addressed him directly, acknowledging that he could hear her voice and assuring him that there was no ambush awaiting him. She emphasized that she was alone in such an isolated location, causing him to suspect Woon's involvement in this situation. Attempting to establish trust, she proposed a deal to him, offering her assistance in gaining control over the desert tribes if he helped her. Jin's thoughts raced, recognizing the potential advantages of such an alliance, but also understanding the limitations of Asmit's influence and the immovability of the desert tribes. To prove her sincerity, Sarah suggested showing evidence. Opening the box containing the tokens, she let them fall to the ground, inviting him to witness. Furthermore, she revealed Wool and Woon, both unconscious. His mind raced, contemplating the possibility that they had been poisoned. As the tension grew between Jean and Sarah, she expressed her disappointment, believing that he lacked prudence and was unable to recognize the potential of their deal. He leaped down from the tree, facing her directly. He proposed an alternative trade, offering to secure her control over the entire desert tribe in exchange for her assistance in making him the successor to the dynasty. Sarah clarified that her original plan had involved making a similar proposal to the fourth young master. However, after learning of his intentions to poison Jean and hold him captive until the end of the trial, she had changed her mind. With all her poison used up, she sought someone more powerful to ally with, regardless of who became the successor. Jean acknowledged Sarah's decision, but before they could continue, he interrupted with a dominating presence. He questioned whether Sarah had made the same offer to his brother, causing her eyes to widen in shock. In a moment of panic, she called out, desperately seeking the aid of Master Jiam. Responding swiftly, Jiam and his troops swiftly arrived on the scene, facing Jean with determination. Jian, brandishing his sword, expressed his surprise at Jiam's whereabouts, realizing that he had been in league with Sarah all along. Jiam, fueled by his ambition, proclaimed that Jean was unworthy of becoming the successor, declaring himself as the future leader of the divine cult. Jean, unfazed, challenged Jiam to prove his claim. Without hesitation, Jiam's troops attacked Jin, engaging in a fierce battle. Jin skillfully swung his sword, striking down his adversaries. The clash between Jiam and Jin was intense, resulting in a powerful collision. In the aftermath, both Jiam and his troops were gone, vanished from sight. The tokens, crucial to their goals, had disappeared as well. Jin, realizing that his suspicions had been correct, felt a surge of anger and determination. He had not intended for things to escalate to this extent, but now he was fully committed to finding Jiam and Sarah. His resolve intensified as he vowed to locate them and put an end to their treacherous actions. Woon and Wool regained consciousness, witnessing the clash between Jin and Jiam. They quickly realized that facing Jin directly would have been a formidable challenge. Wool, filled with anger, lashed out at Woon, questioning the reckless nature of their plans that put their lives at risk. He defended their actions, explaining that such drastic measures were necessary to deceive Jin successfully. Sarah, concerned for Woon's well-being, inquired about his condition, knowing that traces of poison might still linger within his body. He reassured her, stating that he was fine as long as the detoxification process was handled correctly. Woon's betrayal by the first young master had been part of his plan all along, and Sarah expressed her satisfaction with how things had unfolded. She acknowledged that their initial strategy involved proposing an alliance with Jiam first to divert Jin's attention. Feeling the urgency of their situation, Woon urged everyone to move quickly, emphasizing the limited time they had. Jiam found a momentary rest on a rock after his escape with the box. Tonight, his main objective was to survive, knowing that no matter how formidable Jin may be, he couldn't possibly apprehend all the scattered individuals in a single night. As Jiam sat, a man approached him, prompting him to shout in alarm, demanding to know the stranger's identity. To his dismay, it was Jin, his anger apparent. He's realizing the dire situation, mustered the courage to respond. However, Jin's dominating presence intimidated him, causing Jiam to fall to his knees. In an act of submission, he handed the box to Jin, pleading for forgiveness. Curiosity piqued, Jin opened the box, but was met with an unusual scent emanating from within. Suspecting foul play, he swiftly moved the box to the ground and used a flame to ignite its contents. Jiam, shocked by the turn of events, expressed disbelief. Jin, with a mix of frustration and understanding, implicated Woon, blaming him for once again meddling with his plans. As he spotted the flare signal light emanating from the west, he couldn't help but question if Woon had returned to their camp. Arriving at the camp, his suspicion was confirmed as he laid eyes on Woon. The unit leader explained that the fourth young master had threatened to burn the holy flame token if he wasn't called to the camp. Woon had arrived alone, holding a token in one hand and a candle in the other.